everyone, welcome back to PommyInOz. Hope we're all doing really well this wonderful Friday morning, and I hope you're enjoying what is the beginning of the weekend. If you are new around here, please smash that like button, please smash that subscribe button. We're absolutely killing the subs at the moment, so I can't thank you enough. You can go a step further, link is in the description to become the man of the channel. It allows us to do wonderful things, like sponsor the legend that is Dom McKay. Look at it. So you can become part of that. It does help the channel out. We do all sorts of things as well, giveaways and whatnot. And it helps do that. And we're a good community. And if you are a returning PommyInOzer, good day. How are you doing? You alright? I hope we're all good. So what we're doing today is we've got a little bit of a blip in the system because Quenton are playing on Sunday. So we've got an extra day of content. Hey! So I thought what we'd do is everyone's talking about Quenton and how, you know, they're improving, and we know that I'm firmly on the we have improved and we are different train. I thought let's have a look at someone who's probably not getting the kudos they deserve. And I think you'll really enjoy this. So we're looking at Mr. Jack Silvagni. So there he is. Look at him. The specimen that is. And I think he's an unsung hero. And we're going to go into a little bit why. But so far at the moment, he's ranked 16th in tackles inside 50. 1.5 intercept marks a game, 1.5 tackles per game inside 50, 5.5 marks per game. 58% of game time, though, interestingly, is behind the ball. And that is a big difference in JSOS's game this year. And I think it's very integral to what he's building, what Vossi is building. And we're going to talk about something that's really important with him. But what I want you to know is this year, his pressure numbers have always been high. So they're around the 17 this year. What Jack personifies is this new methodology that Quenton have, particularly in aerial pursuits. And they set up a front of the ball. So a front of the ball carrier. And what that allows them to do, and this is where JSOS is naturally brilliant at it and has always stood out in weaker Teague, weaker Bolton systems, is because he's got the footy IQ, he's got the footy smarts. And if you're in front of an aerial contest, whether the ball goes out at the back or whether it comes in front, if it comes in front, winner, you're there. But you are there to make the tackle. You are there to apply the pressure if it does go out the back. You are in position. You have got your back to your goal. And when you play sports, that's where you want to be. You want to be facing the opposition. You don't want to be chasing them. You want them to come to you. And JSOS has really been deployed as that inside 50. And what you're seeing at the moment, particularly with our entries inside 50, we don't have as many as we used to. Teague's was kind of bomb it and hope. Quenton are trying to get it in there with purpose. But one of the clicks where Quenton do go in there is when they are set up. And you'll find that JSOS and Martin and Fogg last week, they play kind of a roaming high half forward. So their job is to be part of the midfield and the defensive change there, but also to be part of the offensive positioning. And that is what JSOS does. And one thing I've noticed with Jack is his engine this year is absolutely elite. The gut running from him is absolutely intense. And I don't think he gets enough kudos because there's players that play this role in the AFL and they do get a little bit of, you know, a little bit of sprinklings of joy. But Jack just kind of, I think it's his surname, he kind of goes unnoticed, particularly, I think, by the AFL community and to probably a lesser extent our own community, Quenton. But what you see with Jack is that endeavour. And you've either got it or you haven't, I think, in the terms of being physical. And Jack has that in abundance. But he's also got something else, and that is the footy IQ. I think when people say he's Mr. Quenton and he personifies the effort and intensity, that kind of does him an injustice. I actually think that his footy smarts, if they wrote degrees, this guy would have a doctorate in footy IQ and footy smarts. You've got to remember as well, a couple of years ago, he led the inside 50s to opportunities at goal. And that is where he's oscillating. He's oscillating that. So if we look at this next slide here, and this is the fourth quarter Jack. Look at him there behind. 66% of the time is in that back half in the fourth quarter. Now, the huge thing with Michael Voss so far is our differential from points scored in the fourth quarter under Teague was 106 points against. So you've got to, so that basically says we got battered. It's the 4th worst in the AFL during that tenure. It's an appalling stat. And people have tried to question that. Why is that? Well, the question is genuinely the top teams finish the game well. It's usually, if you look at the top model of the top sides, they start the first well. The second is kind of like a feeling out process. Towards the back end of the third, they press the go button, and then the fourth, they usually run away with it, and they usually handle it pretty well. The second part of that as well is that if they're ahead, they get bombed in the fourth. And you see Carlton last year, because we were one of the worst sides in the comp, from an analytical point of view, we chased the game in the fourth. What that did is teams then just counter-pressed us, and Carlton, again, one of the worst sides in defending against defensive transition. Again, it was ironic that our focus of our game plan was bomb the ball inside 50 when we were so inept at keeping it inside 50, but also defending any rebounds. What happens now is Carlton are in that new little wave where they've been ahead in the fourth, and the fourth now these teams are coming hard at them and they want to get back in the game. And it's interesting. I want you to know the top left and the middle right. Carlton genuinely, when they're under pressure, particularly under Voss, they look for the corridor. And interesting enough, the hot spots, you are going left to right on the screen, just so you know, are exactly where Carlton put their kick under pressure. You've got that corridor kick there just inside D50, which then goes either as a kind of inverted switch in the corridor, or again goes down the wing, down the left-hand side, or you've got that bomb, which we do when we are really under pressure on that left-hand side. And it's interesting enough that Voss has displayed in the last 2 games something very interesting. Usually Harry would have this heat map in the fourth when we're under pressure. Now, what that did was then you had no toe targets for your second kick. So when, let's just say where that left one is, about 75 out on the left, what would happen there is Carlton would get the ball to Harry, and then Harry looks up, and the only people he's got to kick to are medium players. There isn't a big target. He's deployed Harry the next kick after, which encourages this transition. It encourages at least 1 to 2 kicks to get to Harry, where Harry will be about 65 out in a happy place. In a place that if you turn it over, your players are behind the ball, you're ready. This first kick here where Jesus is, you have to have, as that ball goes and it's taken, players ahead of the ball. So you're robbing Peter to pay Paul with your defensive structure to make sure you've got something ahead of the ball so you can lock it in, potentially score. Jesus has been playing this role and it has really gone unheralded, and I hope we give him a bit of respect for him, because this is a tough gig for Jesus, and it's a new little role. And for me, this is where it's integral with Jack, because Jack's not just very terrific at marking. 5.5 marks is in that above average elite category. We're verging on it. He's exceptional at spoiling. He's exceptional as well below the deck at ground balls. And he's been an integral part of Carlton's huge 2 improvements. Scores from defensive change, which were averaging around 30, and midfield change were averaging plus 45, which are in the good to elite categories. And we have shot from bottom 2 to now top 10, top 5 in defensive transition. And it's a huge part of JSOS's game. And it's an understated part because of what he brings. It's the ability to take the mark, but also when he doesn't take the mark, because that is a risky kick. And if you go back to 2021, how many times did that kick get us into trouble? When it hits the deck, he's there, laying the tackle. He's putting pressure on the ball. He's creating stoppages. He's forcing a turnover or forcing an opportunity for us to reset. And he's a very crafty player. And for me, I would say that if you go back to 2021, you could probably argue no McKay, no Walsh, no Carlton, no Whittaker, no Carlton. This is a guy that stood out, and I think the biggest improvement under Voss isn't Whittaker, isn't Cripps, isn't Mackay. It's these other guys that have really raised the level, and they've become that R word that Carlton have lacked for a long time, role players, but more importantly playing important key roles in these positions. Because when you have Harry here, you've totally ruined it. So that was my big critique of Teague's system. When he plays Harry this deep, you want him a shot at goal. He ain't kicking a goal from 100 metres away. You want him influencing the offensive positions. We will talk in another video about the Kerno Mackay effect and what we saw with our entries inside 50, with TDK playing as well in that forward line. But for me, I think this is the number one takeout for all Carlton fans watching at home to get excited about. It's JSOS's role. Real integral to what Voss is doing, and a real splendid year. Let me know what you want to talk about in the comments. Is there another unsung hero you'd like to talk about, and we go a little bit in depth of what they do for Voss? Let me know in the comments. What do you think of JSOS? I know it's going to be a bit of a love fest, and I took a cop out here, but it was just what the numbers said. I assure you that. Enjoy your weekend. I look forward to welcoming you on Sunday. Pom and Paolo investigates returns on Blue Abroad as well this weekend. We are recording that finally, so something to look forward to. Till next time though, enjoy yourself, have a pleasant weekend. Pommy out.